Okay, look like this is interesting idea for the VRF, but how to start to understand the VRF in the configuration manner? Before to start to configure, you have to understand we have one route table here by default. This is they call a global route table, or in Nexus devices they call it default route table, okay, or default VRF even, okay, or global VRF. So this is the default one. So this is we deal with that one for the daily basis for the normal routing. Okay, so this is very important. This is the first point to understand the VRF. We have already one VRF, which is our route table. So we create another one. We create, let's say, another three, and make each VRF one name and deal with the configuration. Let's jump into the lab. All right, I have here one router you can see, and the router default, there is no any configure show IP interface. Show IP interface brief. You can see I have those interfaces. I never even use the physical interfaces in that lab. I will stack with the loop interfaces, which is much more easy, and because we need to understand the VRF idea, you can use physical later on. Okay, so that router, I change the name first. I make that router is host R1. This is the first router here. So when I say show IP route, you can see this is my route table. This is the global route table here in the front of you. So by default, the route table is nothing. You see, it should be some information here. Once any interface included IP, any interface included IP, or you put IP to that interface, doesn't matter, it is logical interface, SVI, loopback, whatever, any interface. Any interface, you put it IP on it, it will be come up here inside the route table. Let's check it out. Config T, I will say interface loopback 1. I'll create loopback 1 here, okay? And I say IP address 111.255.255.255.0. Okay, let's check it out, the route table again, show IP route. You can see here immediately the interface with the IP address is represented here in the route table. As you can see here, this is C, they call connected, and CL, which is means local, this IP local, and you can see here the CIDR and all the information for this IP. So once you put it IP address to any interface will be presented to the route table. This is the first important point here. Cool. I will configure another interface loopback 2 IP address 222.255.255.255.0, and I will go to the loopback 3 IP address 333.255.255.255.0, and also I will do IP address or interface loopback 4 IP address 444.255.255.255.0. Cool. So all show IP route here, all the interfaces will be presented here because I use it in one route table, in the global route table. Perfect. Let's create VRF and go to the each VRF and assign one interface from this loopback to the each VRF. Okay, config T IP VRF, and I can give a name here, for the VRF. Let's say, because I have a router one here, R1, so let's call the first or consider the second VRF R2. So I create R2, as you can see here. I even create exit. I can even create the R3, which is the VRF3 exit, then also R4. So which is mean I have a 4 router. You have to imagine we have a virtual or logical 4 router inside one physical router right now. Perfect. How can to see those VRF? Show IP VRF. Enter. You can see those VRF here in front of you, the name and default RD. We're talking about the RD later on. Let's take the basic idea for the VRF first. And there is no any interfaces joined with those VRF. Of course, we cannot see the default route. Actually, in Nexus devices, we can see there is a default VRF, but right now in the catalyst switch or router router V or iOS V, we cannot see the default, which is router 1, I mean. Okay, so I have now for VRF, I go to the interface loopback 2. I say please join IP VRF forward to the question mark name for the VRF. I say please go to the R2, which is the VRF2. Enter. They say please, you have to put in the IP address once again. Why? Just now I put in the IP address and everything is okay. The idea behind to ask you why, or to ask you to put in the IP address again, IP address 222.255.255.255.255.0, because right now the loopback 2 is removed from default route table. Do you remember in the default route table we have all the IP initially when we start that lab? So right now when I move this interface loopback 0 to the VRF2, it's already removed from the default route table right there. So once when remove the IP as well from the interface, so that's why they asked me to put in the IP address again to the interface. Okay, I will put in the IP address again. So I say interface loopback 3, please join VRF3. Also, they asked me to put in the IP address again because it's removed from the global or default VRF. IP address 333.255.255.255.0. Then the last one will be 4. Oops, sorry. This one back to 3. Then I put in the IP address 3 here. Cool. Then I say interface loopback 4. I say loopback 4, please go to the VRF4. I ask me that I put in the IP address again. IP address 255.255/24. Cool. Right now I have to check. I'm gonna check show IP route. This is they call a global route table. You can see in the last time I have 4 interfaces, loopback 1, 2, 3, 4, but right now no more, only the one, loopback 1 only in the default or global route table. Where is the rest? Pay attention here, show IP route VRF router 2 or R2. You can see the number 2 is already tied here. Perfect. So show IP route VRF3. You can see here interface 3 is already right there. Number 4 you can see as well here. I've got number 4 or loopback number 4. It is joined to the VRF4. So right now when I say show IP VRF, I can see each VRF in front of you here tied, or each interface tied with a one VRF. By the way, we can put it many interfaces, logical, physical, or whatever, any type of interface in the VRF, in one VRF or in many VRF, but should be each interface in a specific or particular VRF. Cannot put it one interfaces in 2 VRF. It is cannot do that. So this is the first idea. Right now I have a 4 route table. As you can see here, I have a 4 route table. So you can see this is for the default for global. This is for router 2, router 3, router 2, router 3, then router 4 as well. So let's jump into another class or another tutorial to understand how to communicate the VRF between them.